Yo, listen. Yo, listen. Yo, listen.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Happy Monday to you. Here we are. We're in October, y'all. Do you believe it? Monday, October 2nd. I know I don't believe it. How about that? I truly don't believe we're in October. But here we are. Here we are. Happy Monday to you. Family, I want to know what's going on with you and what's going on in life. I know there is so much happening and so much taking place around us. So tell me what you did. How was your weekend? Let me know how it was. Feel free. You already know to let me know in the comments. Send me a hello, a shout out, and all that good stuff. Share some love with me and Nick, or you can even give us a call. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Woo! All right. So since we're in October, I know we're still in Virgo season, right? Because we didn't switch it. Is Libra? I don't even know where we are now, but I'm sending special birthday shout outs to you. If you are celebrating a birthday, I want you to know that we like to celebrate here, and excuse me, if your light is shining just a little dimly, I just want you to know that I'm sending all the extra love and hugs that I can muster to you. I just want you to know that you're not alone. On behalf of your tribe and your village, just know that you are not alone. So, family, because it's Monday, you know what we do on Monday. We talk with my girl. We talk with Farida Boyer, and she's been waiting, as have you. I know. I was trying to get some things together. Let me tell you, life was lifing. Okay, life was lifing, but here I am. Praise God. So, for those of you who are unaware, Farida Boyer she's our resident clinician, but she's also the executive director and co-founder of the Black Brain Campaign Association, and here she is. So, I invite you to the conversation with Farida Boyer. Hey
Hello,
there, beautiful.
how are you?
I will not complain. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Let me just say that. That's all. That just sums it up. Okay. Okay. Heavens to
It's one
Murgatroyd.
of those days.
What?
Truly. Yeah.
You see me? Yeah. I'm
Mhm.
I'm working. Listen, I'm working through it. But I'm here. So I'm grateful. That's why I have this smile on my face and and all this laughter because I am here. Okay. I am here. You know what? Before we move further, I do want to recognize some of our family members that are checking in. Don't you think I didn't see y'all? Don't think I didn't see you. Brother Nasir, hey there. He is sharing peace and blessings with everybody, as he always does. Always so happy to have you here. My girl, Mardia Reed, she is joining us. Hey, beautiful. Hey, beautiful. And Brother Malcolm. Hey there. Brother Malcolm is sharing that he's watching and listening from West Mount Avery. You know I like it when you put that. You know I do. He's sending good evening to everybody. So, Farida, I know how quickly the hour goes by. All right,
Mhm.
I know it does. I know it does. So, what do you have for us today? What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about grandparents and their responsibility of raising children, which can be difficult.
Mm,
One of the things that I want to mention is because it's different. I think when we think about grandparents, we think
hmm.
about older relatives. And now we have grandparents that could be as young as 30 years old.
How
So
about that?
yeah, so it's definitely different.
Well, you know what? I have a question about what you just said. The statement you said talking about grandparents and their responsibility. Is it the responsibility of a grandparent to raise a grandchild?
Technically, no.
Okay. Okay. The look on your face is like,
No,
not
it's really not.
really.
We should be responsible for whomever we birth. So it's not their responsibility. I think that it's a blessing if they are assisting in the rearing of children because it just helps to have
Hmm.
more eyes and more hands, but it's not their responsibility. And somehow, some way, a lot of them are being responsible for raising our
I've
children.
seen that. Quite honestly, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of grandparents who are raising their grandchildren as their own. I mean, just for different reasons, but I know there are some grandparents that don't mind though either. There's some grandparents that they kind of
Jump in
take.
where they need to.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot raising children, so it's helpful to have support. Um,
Hmm.
I'll just even speak with my mother. There was one time I was working 7 days a week, so
Ooh.
she would keep my son when I'm at work overnight. So it was even just having our children, not just me, my sister's children. She would have they would be over her house on the weekends.
Oh wow.
But we made sure it was food there, snacks and everything. Here's a couple extra dollars because we were working like hours and just to have her there was helpful. But then when I look back, even it's a generational thing because my mother used to work. My mother used to work at a store, Shapiro shoe store,
Oh,
for
okay.
years, for years,
Hmm.
and she
Hmm.
worked on Saturdays. So my grandmother took us to dance class and was responsible for like our weekend activities because my mother was working.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? So was it a hardship for her?
For my mother or for my
Hmm.
grandmother?
For your
My grandmother, I think they
grand.
just even and I think I shared this before. My father was killed when I was 10. So
Right.
his mother was and his aunts, my they were all active and helping raise us when my father passed away. So
Mm.
I think and we've learned it's funny because my sister needed my brother to take my niece somewhere over the weekend, and I think that we've learned from them to be supportive of one another. Like everybody can't do everything, but I'm gonna jump in if you need your child to be taken here. So I think we've
Mm.
learned from in my family, we've learned from our grandparents that like you kick in. My mother didn't drive, so my grandmother would go to the market and bring groceries over or take her to the market and things like that. So I
Mhm.
think that when it's the village, you need that village to help take care of the family. And right now the village is kind of scarce.
You know, As you were saying that, I remember. I mean, my grandmother was the same way. My grandma, like you said, that generation, they just, kicked in when
Mhm,
they were needed. My
mhm,
grandmother, she made us breakfast every morning, and it was me and my cousins. It wasn't just me.
mhm,
She,
mhm.
so yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm curious to know because you were talking about the generational thing, saying the grandparents are younger now.
Mhm,
What kind of
mhm.
an effect or impact do you think that will have on this next generation?
A significant impact. When you think about if you have a 30-year-old grandparent, they didn't get to live life. That means they probably had their child at a young age. So
Mhm.
they're raising children at a young age and they don't get to live their own life. So it's like they're missing out on everything. And then now my child has had a child. So some parents do step in. I have a friend where she like stepped in and helped her children out with their children, but it can be a hardship. It's a lot. It costs a lot to raise children. It takes time
Mhm.
to raise children. And if you're young and you haven't experienced life, one, you may not even know how to appropriately parent. So
Mm.
um it definitely can be a hardship.
You know what? That statement right there, you may not know
Hmm.
how to parent appropriately. I think about that when as when we're having this conversation, and then when I think about grandparents who are younger and how our babies are growing up and how the generations what I've seen, and I will say this, so nobody get mad. I don't want y'all to get mad. But what I have seen in some cases, I've seen because we've had a young grandparent, a young mother, that they're more friends than there is a level of hierarchy, for lack of a better way of expressing that.
Hmm.
So because of that, I've seen some different things.
Hmm.
I've seen mothers and children hanging out and you know which see that dynamic there. Let me say this because I'm trying to be very careful because I'm trying my very best. I'm not being judgmental in any way,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
at the same time I recognize um
The loose
you know
boundaries.
yes, yes, thank you, yes,
The loose
yes,
boundaries.
yes,
If you're going out and partying with your child, it's like, okay, this is more like a friend. It's not.
right.
And then you have, so sometimes when the parent and grandparent live in the same home, it's like who am I
Mm,
supposed to listen to?
how about that?
Because she's still telling you what to do. So who am I supposed to listen to?
I had not even thought about that, but how about that? How
Mhm,
about that? I want to take a moment to recognize some more of our family members. Oh, this is not a good t-shirt. To
mhm.
who have joined the conversation. Leslie Burrell is checking in and shares. I am checking in from West Mount Airy tonight. You too, Leslie. I love that West Mount
Hi,
Airy.
Leslie. Mhm.
Miss Julie is joining us as well. And Miss Julie writes, greetings to each of you. I stand corrected. How are you, Carol? And professional, Farida. In most instances, grandparents are the most available. How about that? And many willingly volunteer to look after their grandchildren. It does also supplement income. Of which no institution should include as additional income, especially because looking after grandchildren comes from the heart.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you know what? To that point, Miss Julie, and to all of our other family members that are spending some time with us, is it an imposition to the grandparents who are out there? And I know you may volunteer, you may say, well, that's my grandbaby. Of course I'm going to get my grandbaby. But
Mhm.
at some point in time, does it become an imposition? Does it interfere with the time that you want to have for yourself? And to the grandparents who are at a point in their lives where they say, okay, this is me time.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
like how does that affect them and to what degree?
Because you have some grandparents who are like, I'm not gonna be the babysitter, or I don't want to
Hmm.
do that. And
Hmm.
I don't know if they should be responsible for having to do that. I mean, I think it should be a gift if that's something that you want to do, but I don't think it's your responsibility to do that.
How about that? How about that? Do you, this is, I'm curious to know if this scenario has ever been presented to you from a client. Have you ever
Oh,
had,
absolutely.
oh,
Absolutely. Hmm. Because I do family therapy, so we bring in grandparents, parents, and it can become an issue where the grandparent may feel like the parent isn't stepping up and they're being more responsible to having to raise the child. I've gotten phone calls. Sometimes there's addictions involved, and the grandparents have to be responsible because the parents aren't available because of their addiction. So,
that's an additional hardship, especially if you're trying to navigate, like you say, a child with an addiction, and now you're raising.
So you're dealing with the addiction and having to be responsible for those children. I know in the Department of Human Services, they often look to grandparents to take on the children if the parents are unavailable or can't keep the child for some reason. They look for grandparents and other family members before they look outside of the family.
Well, Miss Julie did say the grandparents are typically the ones who are most available. And that makes sense. That Miss Joanne shares. Hi there, by the way, and thank you for joining the conversation. She shares, it's nice for grandparents to want to babysit. My daughter used to buy me clothing, pay a bill, etc. Usually you won't take money, but it's always nice to feel appreciated at some point. How about that? That's a good point. Family, listen, it's time for us to take just a short break, but the phone lines are open and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We'll be right back.
Get ready for EcoFest, a celebration of environmental justice in our city. As WURD marks its 2 decades on the airwaves, we're not just reminiscing about the past, we're blazing a trail for the future. Held at One Art Community Center on October 9th, EcoFest will be centered around creating Black green futures. Join us for captivating panel discussions, electrifying musical performances, educational workshops, and a diverse lineup of vendors offering everything you need for a sustainable lifestyle. Make sure you tune into EcoWord every Friday at 10 a.m. hosted by POC for all the exciting event details you won't want to miss. We can't wait to see everyone at One Art Community Center on October 9th for EcoFest. Brought to you by the Alliance for Watershed Education, Keystone First, the Energy Co-op, and the Fiddler Club. Stay tuned and stay inspired only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Tailgating season is here. Keep things sizzling all season long with Dietz & Watson. Fire up the grill with perfectly smoked premium franks and sausages, or enjoy endless sandwich combos with fresh sliced meats and cheeses in a variety of bold flavors. There's something for everyone in the family. Plus, plenty of protein-packed snacks. Head to DietzandWatson.com to find a ShopRite store near you. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing. Premium meats and artisan cheeses since 1939.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
WURD Radio is sharing a harvest for the world. Now through December 31st, visit wordradio.com to find information on upcoming Give Back events in the Philadelphia area. If your organization is hosting free clothing giveaways, food drives, free workshops, community dinners, and more, please share the details using the form on our website. Visit wordradio.com and look for the Harvest banner. It's harvest time, and we're sharing information on those giving back to the community. The Harvest is brought to you by Comcast, PECO, Keystone First, and the United Way. We are WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
This is your celebration.
Keith Henderson. I am the manager of technical operations for PECO's workforce development team. Wishing WURD a happy 20th anniversary.
I'm Trish Downey, and I am the Senior Director of External Communications at Hopeful, HOPEPHL.org, and we just want to wish WURD a happy 20th anniversary.
Hi, my name is Jim Olmsted. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Jefferson Health Plans. We're here in Philadelphia in the community. We'd love to wish WURD a happy 20th anniversary.
Hello, my name is Eric Kendall. I want to wish WURD, the WURD family, a happy anniversary, happy birthday. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. We need you and we love you.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So here we are. It's Monday. And on Monday, we talk with Mrs. Farida Boyer. So that's what we're doing because today is no different. And today, though, we're talking about grandparents raising their grandchildren. I know y'all have some comments about this, and I want to hear them. I want to hear all of them. And to that point, feel free to comment on our socials if you choose to do that, or you can even give us a call. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. So, Farida, we're talking about these grandparents raising their grandbabies. And I'm curious to know, like we were talking about, Miss Joanne just volunteered. She said that, her daughter did some nice, really nice things, for her. But I don't doubt that there are some grandparents out there who, didn't have as pleasant an experience. What kind of financial barriers are there for some of our grandparents? What kind of
It could be a real hardship on some of the grandparents when you think about as you grow older and you're trying to prepare for retirement, and then you have to take and you may be living on a fixed income. You are taking on that responsibility and didn't plan on it, so it can impact you tremendously in a negative way because you may not be able to afford to take on additional people to support.
Right. And then we don't have now. I want to make sure that I have clarity on this because you were talking about the state reaching out to grandparents if the parent if there's a situation where the parent cannot take care of the child, but there are no laws in place about it, right?
No, I don't think it's a law. You don't have to do it.
Right. There are no.
No, some people. Let's be honest and real.
Okay.
You know who your children and grandchildren are, and you may not have the mental capacity to care for some of these children. You think about the looting that went on the other day, and if a parent, if you had to be responsible for one of those children, it's and you're having to work every day, and now you have to deal with that as well. Like some people don't want to take on that.
I was thinking about like the grandparents who are in assisted living, even, or like
you can't because some places you can't have other people living in those 55 and older communities. Like they have strict rules and regulations that you can't have people stay at your house, so you may not be able to take on that responsibility.
I thought as much. And you talk about now family. Let me tell you something. Everything. Well, there's a lot that took place over the past few days, particularly over the weekend with the looting and everything. Don't think we're not going to talk about that, because I definitely want us to have a conversation about that. I feel so strongly about all of that just took place. But at the same time, I didn't want to get sidetracked because I knew we were planning to discuss this today, but I'm so glad you brought it up. I mean, see, my heart was so vexed. My spirit was just so vexed because of, everything going on, not just even in our city, especially and particularly in our city, but, around the world too. I'm seeing it. But I digress. Today we're talking about our grandparents. What I want to do right now is go to our phone lines. One of our family members is waiting on the line to join the conversation. Hi there. Leslie is on line 1. Thank you for calling.
Hello. It's been a while, but I'm back now. Once again, Ms. Riddick, I have to say that you have just, every time I turn on this station and your show, it is always a poignant topic and issue that I just feel vehemently about. So thank you so much for your passion and the love that you bring to these hard things that we have to talk about. So I want to say that, number one. Number two,
God bless you.
Miss Farida, are you Ryan's wife?
I am.
Okay, so this is Leslie. I'm Leslie Burrell. I'm George's daughter. So
I know who you are.
Go way back. And I'm always inspired by you every time I've heard anything about you from Ryan. So thank you for being a part of this conversation. All right, now let me get started. Right. Now, number one, it's interesting. My experience, I had those kind of grandparents that were available. They were retired by the time I was coming through. They could be there, had their homes, this and the third. But my parents, because my parents were always very busy, and I am the youngest child, they were always there. And that's on both sides, maternal and paternal. But I'll tell you, when I had my first child, I was in my 30s, and I remember my dad asking me, he said, well, listen, I'm not raising anybody's babies because I was not married and I had not planned on getting married. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, I'm going to give my child the same thing your mother gave you, and that's everything that I had to give. But that was an important and poignant thing that he said to me. I'm not going to raise your child, you know what I mean? And I think that's a difficult, difficult intersection when we talk about grandparents and their children having children. So I'm telling you, I don't mind saying, thank God my daughter's not listening. She's a new woman. And I think all the women out here listening understand what I'm saying. So she's 13 years old. She's a new woman. And the first thing I told her, we've already had that discussion, sanitary. But here's the thing. You can get pregnant now. And what's not going to happen is that's just not an acceptable thing here. Obviously 13 is young, but we have to start young now. My son is 18. He's a very handsome guy. He's an area elite athlete. I've had to let him know. You know what I mean? Listen, what's not going to be, he has dreams of going to the NFL. I don't mind saying that out loud because you have to say it, you have to see it, to have it, to be it, right? See that little person at the table right there? That person has no seat at our table. You know what I mean? And we are just to give them a level of expectation of not only their sexuality, but actually their ability and capacity for procreation. Now, I don't know how people want to say that. I'm trying to be as euphemistic as I can with that. But I have had that tough talk with them to let them know really where things lie here. Because the children, the child who has the grandchild, that is a choice and a decision that they make. And I find it. I'm a teacher, and I have to see it all the time. The grandparents come in, they don't have the energy, they don't have the desire, but they have the love. But if you don't have those first two, the love sometimes just isn't enough. And that's where that tough conversation really comes in with their child and with their grandchild when they're trying to reprimand them. Their boys might get bigger than them, or the girls get fresher than them. 7th and 8th grade, that's a difficult time period. But we're having those real conversations, and I think, if I may, just take this second to say, I find that we are so reactionary in our community rather than being proactive, or preventative, if you will, in this equation. It's about having these conversations as early as is necessary now. It's necessary. You hate to have it, But it's necessary now because
yes.
of all of the information that they are getting, all of the stimulus they are getting, all of those things. And now you have to put that out there to them. And, I've talked to parents, grandparents all the time, I don't know what to do. And listen, I can't tell you what to do. It is not for me to tell you how to raise your children or your grandchild. I just want you to know that I encourage you to do your best. But if we don't start to be, once the situation may have happened, if we don't start to be preventative for it to not continue to happen, you know what I mean? I think that we'll always be having this conversation tonight, where the love that you give to us, Carol, is necessary, where the patience you're giving to us, Miss Farida, is necessary. Rather than to have the tough talk, you know what I mean, and just say what is real, And I thank God, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. My parents still work. You know what I'm saying? My stepmother's a marathon runner. She ain't trying to have nobody at the house before 9 o'clock in the morning, and I need them to be there at 7:30. I just wanted to say about that.
Well, I want to ask you a question because the both of you actually, and thank you for that. Thank you so much. I'm curious, something that you said about having those conversations, because let me tell you, when I was coming up, the same thing was said to me. Don't you bring anybody in here. Don't you bring anybody in here. And it was said to me exactly like that. Don't you bring anybody in here, not chick nor child. That's what it was said to me. Not chick nor child. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was going to say that was so important. It was so important because it was definitely it stayed. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I'm curious, it's obviously, I guess, a generational thing, because I don't know, so I will not say, but I don't get the impression.
I can't say that because, and I can say this now, everyone, both of my parents had children before they married each other and had me. You know what I mean? Everyone, my oldest brother is my dad's son from his first marriage, which he got married the day after he graduated from high school. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They were pregnant. That's what you did back then.
Right.
You know
That's true.
And so, I can say this with all confidence. Obviously everybody grew up together, but the point is that was the level of expectation then. If you did that, you married that, and you have to take care of that.
Yes.
And people all pitch in. But I will tell you this, and I'm revealing something. It's funny, as you get older, Carol, you don't mind to reveal yourself because you own it and you love it, right?
That's so true.
I was an athlete, right? And when I went to Roxborough, this is where I met Ryan, as a matter of fact. But before I went to Roxborough, in the ninth grade, my dad sat me down at Susanna Fu. I don't know if you remember that restaurant, just the two of us. He says to me, the expectation for the next 4 years is for you to be playing the best field hockey, getting the best grades, and to not get pregnant. And that is the only thing that it was ever said to me about that whole chasm, if you will. But that was a level of expectation that was set for me. And that's obviously what I followed. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that we start in Ms. Farida, I hope that you'll have some commentary on this part, is that I hope that we can start to have conversations or meetings or anything to help our mothers, your grandmothers, whatever, anybody who wants, anyone who has children who could possibly have grandchildren, to encourage them to have that kind of tough conversation, to set a level of expectation for our children and let them know where we're at and where I expect you to go.
I think what you said is necessary.
If I'm just going to interrupt for one moment. I'm so sorry because we do have to take a break. I'm so busy in this conversation. But hold tight. Leslie, hold tight. Farida, hold tight. Family, hold tight. It's time for us to take just a short break, but stay with us because we'll be right back.
Words of empowerment.
Eric Nixon, a multi-platform audio editor at WHYY. At the end of the day, when people are heard and when people are loved, the community in Philadelphia is like probably no other in the country. As far as it's a city of neighborhoods, a city of love, a city of people that really want to help each other and fulfill each other's needs and desires when they're able to. And want to give back to each other. But unfortunately, a lot of barriers keep people from doing that. But when we see how these barriers are taken down or are eased a bit, there's the love there that Philly has for itself and for people that are welcome in the community, and we just got to get back to that. But I love seeing that when it's able to be shown.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These words of joy and empowerment are brought to you by Comcast, the United Way, and Bank of America.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Why is WURD important to the community?
It's important that there's someone from the community that's authentically talking about the problems and all the steps that need to be taken to get to a better place.
And it gives them a platform and an opportunity to share their expertise and love of the culture.
And it's critically important that people have an opportunity to speak, and it's even more important that people have an opportunity to be heard.
WURD is the community and of the community.
WURD serves as the voice for the community.
It gives a sense of connectedness among people who aren't necessarily in front of each other physically, but they feel and connect with each other over the air.
So glad they're coming to Mantua.
It's in the name. WURD is the word. WURD gets the word out to the community. WURD connects the community. WURD empowers the community. WURD embraces the community.
We are 20 years strong, giving voice to the community, and without the community, there will be no WURD. We are one and the same, and it is not a game. WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So before the break, we were talking with Leslie, who had joined us, who had joined the conversation. Leslie, are you still there?
You know
I just wanted to make sure you were. And Farida was about to respond to the question you'd asked, so I'm terribly sorry, Farida.
I was going to mention the fact that we have a responsibility to express our expectations to our children. And I think that is important. And while Leslie was talking, I was thinking my best friend, she was scared. Her father scared her straight. She was like, I'm not having children out of wedlock. And she did not. She didn't have any children until she got married. And it was because he had put that fear in her that, I'm not raising any other children. You can't afford to take care of children as a teenage mom, and we're not doing that in our home. And I think that makes a difference when you provide your children with that information and give them the expectation of what you think they should be doing or what you expect of them is really important. And we should always instill that in our children.
Mm-hmm. And what we're not it's not that we're not going to, because obviously I have children, so I can speak now of the idea of grandchildren. It's not that we're not going to, but what we really don't want to do. If my child had a child, It's not like I would say that child can never be. You know what I mean? I would never. Because of course there's love, but it is incumbent upon me to like we all agreed upon, set the level of expectation. So therefore, you know that if you decide to do this, then you have decided to take the lion's share of X, Y, and Z. I was in my 30s before I had children. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, I want to have a good time anyway. But that being said, you know, it's funny because my parents, I bought a house around the corner from my dad's house, and next thing I know, I go around the corner and nobody's in the house. You know what I mean? They done moved downtown. You know, they done downsized. I'm saying house, and the apartment's all white. So I know you don't want no babies up in there.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying? But full circle, I just feel like just a lot of times that's where we fall, where we are as a community are vulnerable in terms of our in looking after, raising, rearing our next generations, is that we're not setting a level of expectation for their behavior, their activity, their decision making. And that is what is really like very scary to me. Like I said, I teach, and so I'm seeing it, and it just worries me. But I have to tell you one other thing. You know, I'm really blessed, and the funny thing is, a lot of these young people today are blessed the same way. But I was blessed to know my great grandparents. You know what I mean? Now a lot of them they don't even think of it. Oh yeah, I'm 50 years old. This one a student said to me, my great grandmother's 50. I said, please don't tell anybody else that. They don't even know what a blessing that is. Actually,
No, they don't.
you know,
They really don't.
they really don't. And that's so just having those conversations, and I hope that we can start to be more preventative rather than reactionary to these kinds of things, in just kind of leveling up our kids in the idea of our expectations for them. But that was all I really wanted to say. So that was a long way to say that, wasn't it?
No. How about I thank you for the contribution? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you both. Have a great night. I'm going to continue listening.
You too. Thank you. I'm going to go to line 2. Diane has been waiting to talk with us and to join the conversation. Thank you for calling.
Hi, Carol and Sarita. I want to thank you so much for taking my call. I'm enjoying the conversation. I love when you have Sarita on. You know, she talks about the facts of life, and she's so down to earth. You know, during the pandemic, one of my family members, they need help, and I refer her to Sarita office, and they did a wonderful job. They turned her life around, and I just want to thank you for therapy that you have given my family. I truly, thank you so much, Sarita, for that and all that you do with mental health. You know, yes, mental health is so important. We all need help in mental health. You know,
Yes,
in
we
times
do.
like this. And we shouldn't be ashamed to seek mental health. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But I want to talk about my grandmom. You know, my mom had me at a young age, 14, But my grandparents, they stepped in and they took good care of me. And I'm so happy about that, And, once my mom got older, she did a wonderful, wonderful job. And my grandmom and my grandfather, their daughter died at 32, and she had 10 children. Her husband and my grandmother and grandfather, they took care of the children. My aunts and stuff, they all share, and all 10 of the children became successful. My grandmother and my grandfather and my aunts and my uncle. And today, we do the same thing. I take care of my grandchildren. I got 3 grandchildren, and whenever my children need, they work and everything. I ain't gonna take care of while they out there partying now. But as long as they working and doing something constructive, trying to make I don't mind. I really, really don't mind. I had 3 boys, and I had 1 daughter. And I tell them, I say, you want to wait till you get married to have, because I don't want my son having children all over the place, and I don't know how my grandchildren doing, because children is not responsible for being on this earth. They're not responsible. So one of my sons, he has 2 children. He had first one, we married. So, he was responsible. And then he said, Mom, I got something else to tell you. I said, Lord, I hope this boy having another baby. I said, Lord, it scared me so bad. But it was something else. But he did get married. He married to the mother of his child, and they have 2 children. And I was so happy about that. And my daughter, she married my other 2 sons. They still looking, but they don't have no children. I don't believe in you having children and not taking care of them. Just don't believe in that. If you do, as a parent, we have to take care of them because children is not. They're not responsible for being here, and I think they should be taken care of really, really good. And I have 11 sisters and brothers, and we all take care of each other. My niece and nephew, they grown now, but we all took care of each other. A lot of my sisters, they was in nursing, and I always babysit. I had to retire early. Matter of fact, I go to disability because I lost my eyesight, but I was still taking care of children and still raising my grandchildren. So I just, children are so important, and we look out for each other's children. Even our neighbor children, we look out for their children because they're our. Don't take care of them. They're not going to take care of us. So we're responsible, no matter how they get here, we have to take care of them. That's the way I believe.
I believe that too. I sure do, Miss Diane.
That's
I
the
sure
village.
do.
That's the village helping to take care of jumping when you said the neighbors and it's just not the same anymore. We used to have that when I was growing up, but it's different now.
Yeah.
And there's so much.
There's so much. Thank you so much. And Carol, you do a great job. I love your compassion too. Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't thank you both enough for calling. Thank you. Family, if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. It is Monday, and on Mondays, we break it down with Mrs. Farida Boyer. And that's what we're doing. Tonight, we're talking about grandparents raising grandchildren. And I know, Farida, I see the clock ticking. I see it ticking, and I know we don't have you for much longer. I know we don't. So what I'm going to do is acknowledge some of our family members that have been checking in. Frey is joining us. Hey there, Frey. Hey, beautiful. And she shares, that's right, neither chick nor child. I know that's right because that's what I was told my entire youth. Mizzy is joining us. Hey there, beautiful Mizzy G. That is Miss Joanne is joining us. Miss Joanne Dormont, and she is sharing peace and love with everybody. And Miss Julie, she shares, just to mention, later reports revealed that there were 3 minors involved with the looting. Yes. Miss Julie, let me tell you how we're going to talk about all of that in the next hour because we're going to break down some things. I just want to talk with you all about that. But she also shares it's very saddening that there is a lot of promoting business consciousness and people that were turned around and destroyed. The arc of people's business buildings and abilities. Listen, Miss Julie, you hold that thought. You hear me? You hold that thought because we're going to talk about all of that in the 8 o'clock hour. But Farida, before you leave us, is there anything that you will leave us with?
I just want to say that it's essential to have grandparents in your life and to have that level of support. It can be difficult. There are supports out here. Like I said, the Department of Human Services, they're not in the business of taking your children. They want to be helpful. So reach out to them if you're in a situation. They can offer support for you.
You hear that? They can. But we hear listen, we hear so many stories and there's so much. I just worry about our babies. I really do. I mean, I worry about us because there's so much coming at us as adults right now. But I really, really worry about our babies because they're relying on us. They're looking to us for help, whether they care to admit it or not. They're looking to us for guidance and for assistance and for help. So God help us all. I keep saying it. God help us all. God help us all. But family, it's time for us to take another break. I know what you're saying. Another one? Yes, another one. And because we only have Miss Farida for an hour, when we come back, I want to talk with you and hear your thoughts and your feelings about what's going on in the world today. It's time. We're going to talk early this week because there's so much to digest and so much for us to just work through mentally. Just so much going on. Farida, I wish you were staying with us so you could help us process it all. But I know.
I'll be back.
I know. I love it. She said, I'll be back. But I know you have to go. We have to let you go. But Farida will, God willing, will be back with us next Monday. So family, sit tight though, because it's time to talk about some things, okay? It's time to talk about some things. Stay with us. We will be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Reality Check.
They're talking to this House Judiciary Committee. They're talking to Merrick Garland about these cases. And he basically told them, listen, I'm not the president's lawyer. I will add that I am not Congress's prosecutor. The Justice Department works for the American people, which the GOP, they need to be doing that too. But instead, they are taking time with these kind of ridiculous probes into a Hunter Biden plea deal and into what the Justice Department is doing. And Merrick Garland also said that the threats against the Justice Department have required them to add on more security. And he is saying that this is dangerous, but they are not going to be intimidated. He said, we will do our jobs free from outside interference, and we will not back down from defending our democracy, as they shouldn't.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Reality Check on WURD Progressive Black Talk Media.
Words of empowerment.
Nathaniel Lee. I would say this because I was once young, and I said the same thing every young person said. I didn't think my elders knew what they were talking about because times have changed. So I would say to the young, every moment counts. I don't care how young you are. I don't care. You may think you have forever. You really don't. Before you know it, you're going to be my age, because I said the same thing. My mother said the same thing. My stepfather said the same thing. And now they're older, just as I'm older. So I would say every moment count, no matter how it feels. You do not have eternity. So make every moment count. Make good decisions. Make every decision the best decision you can, because before you know it, life is like a shadow. Before you know it, it's over.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These words of joy and empowerment are brought to you by Comcast, the United Way, and Bank of America.
Severe flooding from recent hurricanes and other storms has left hundreds of thousands of cars, trucks, and other vehicles unsafe to drive. Flooded vehicles are supposed to be dismantled for usable parts or crushed for scrap, and a flood title should be issued to that car. But some shady dealers will buy a flooded vehicle, clean it up, and get it retitled with no indication it was flooded. Or uninsured cars will be cleaned up by the owner and sold online, also with no warning to the buyer. If the price is too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure to check for flood damage and have a qualified mechanic inspect the vehicle before you write a check. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start. Head over to nicb.org to check it out.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
To the big-hearted, the bold, the teachers, the growers, the builders, the change makers, we need you. We are the Peace Corps. In more than 60 countries, we go the distance to make a difference. We're volunteers, partners, communities, bringing our experience, joy, and passion to building a better world together. Are you looking for more? Then we are looking for you. Join us at peacecorps.gov.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome back to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I want to recognize one of our family members that joined the conversation just before we went to commercial break. Crystal, hi there, Crystal. Crystal Rucker is joining us, and she shares peace and love this evening with everybody. Thank you so much, Crystal, for the love, as always. So, family, before we went to commercial break, I was sharing a comment that Miss Julie left. And I'm going to share it again. She shared a comment that states that there were 3 minors involved in the looting that took place just a few days ago. The rest were adults. If I'm not mistaken, Miss Julie, there were initially 52 individuals arrested, 49 were adults, and 3 were minors, juveniles. And she shares how saddened she was. I too was saddened. I am saddened. I continue to be saddened with this. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with us as adults. I don't know what's happening. And now we keep talking about our children. We keep talking about how we have so many youth that are committing these crimes. But here we are, adults, 49 now to be exact. And don't misunderstand me, because I am in no way discounting the pain that the Irizarry family must be feeling, that the pain that they are trying to navigate and trying to live with, the loss that they are trying to navigate, the detachment they are feeling, and the grief that they're processing in addition to the situation at hand in totality. But at the same time, here we are. Aren't we supposed to be help? Aren't we on the outside, those of us on the outside, aren't we supposed to help in some way? If that's where your heart leads you. Let me not say that but aren't we all supposed to help one another, quite honestly? I know. Some of you are saying, well, Carol, here you go with that silver lining stuff again. Here you go with the fluff. Here you go, you want everything to be pretty and cute and nice. Well, you know what? I do. I do want it to be pretty, and I do want it to be nice, and I do want it to be real at its core. I want us to love one another. I want us to look out for one another. I want us to care for one another. If something happens to me, yeah, I want you to care that something happened to me, but I don't want you to destroy someone else's in the process. I don't want that to be the way you demonstrate how you care for me. So what is happening with us that becomes a part of our thought process, even before it becomes an action? How does that become our thought process? Let's go destroy because I'm angry, because I'm upset, because I'm hurt. Why isn't it that we decide to come together and talk and put a plan of action together to combat the forces that are coming at us constantly? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Why? How is it too that one person can have this idea, this thought, and have this anger and this drive to want to create this mess and chaos, and then have a whole group of people follow? How does that happen? What is that? What is that? What is that? Listen, I'm fed up too. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all of this that is taking place. I'm tired of all that is being done to us. I'm tired of all that is going on. I'm tired of it all. I am. I'm just as tired as you. But is that the answer? To destroy one another? To destroy what people have worked so hard to build, to have? You're talking about people's legacies. Is that the answer? I am angry about it. I'm hurt by it. I spoke briefly last week when I said, I mentioned it, but I can't let it go. I cannot let it go. So I'm asking you, family, I'm asking you to talk to me about it, to talk with me about it. I welcome your comments in the comment section on our socials, but I'm also open to conversing. Call me, call me, call me, call me. And for those of you who don't know how to do that or what number to dial to do that, I should say, you can call me at 215-634-8065. You can even call me toll free at 1-866-361-0900. We talk every day about our babies. We talk about what we're teaching our kids, what we're showing our kids. We talk about we've even gone so far as to say it's these kids out here that they're destroying everything. They are tearing everything apart. And we had 49 adults arrested initially. I don't even know. There could be more now in the aftermath, but initially there were 49 adults arrested and 3 juveniles. What kind of an example are we setting? What kind of an example? Seriously, family, call me. I want you to do so. I'm going to leave the number visible so that you can see it, so you can call me to talk with me. 215-634-8065, or you can even call me toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Miss Julie, thank you for commenting. She shares, I don't know what the exact numbers are, concerning a beauty supply store, a dollar store, liquor retail store 1 day later. I even saw that. I did read that some of the liquor stores, the state decided to close. At one point, they were saying all of the liquor stores, but I do believe a good number of them have reopened. I do believe they have today, but here we are. Here we are in the aftermath. I did also read that there was a business that had been started. It had just opened maybe about 6 months ago. It was no more than 6 months ago. And here, this entire business was destroyed. What is happening? Miss Lily, hi there. Thank you for joining the conversation. She is saying hello and she's sharing peace and love with everybody. I'm going to take a moment to go to our phone lines. One of our family members is on the line waiting to talk with us. Hello. Oh, Miss Audrey. Hi, Miss Audrey. Thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome, Carol. And I, too, am upset. And how are you today?
I won't complain, Miss Audrey.
Yes, we're blessed with another day.
We are.
We struggle to get through every event. Much of it is shock and awe. There was a good recommendation preceding your show where it was said, be aware. Mm-hmm. And the idea of being aware is telling yourself, I'm sitting here taking action, or I'm sitting here and I'm eating my food, or whatever the case may be, because I believe we do lose touch, and we never know if it's momentary or the length of the pause when it is that we receive alarming news, disturbing news, shocking news. So regarding the melee, if that's the proper word or term to call it, that happened in both Center City and I get confused about this section of the Northeast. At the retail stores today, I believe that was a day later.
It was.
It was an interview, one of the district interviews with a young woman who was very upset, young Black woman who opened up a beauty store, where you could go in and get your supplies and whatnot. And when I saw them rushing through and how they were taking the items and everything, and then they sit there in the mall as though one was looking out for the other. Okay, go ahead, your turn. Nobody's looking or what have you. The idea of it is, Carol, I'm convinced that some of this is gang-initiated action. I really am. I just am. I have no way to prove it. I don't know it to be a fact. I do know that it's as disturbing as, I want to say it was 7 years ago, where they said a young person who was less than the age of 12 had a pistol in his hand, gun, something that could kill, hurt, destroy, damage, whatever the proper term is in that regard. And it doesn't help. To me, it doesn't help.
No.
These 24/7, mostly on HBO, where they're constantly blowing in our face what the inmate is thinking, what the inmate said, whom the inmate was attached to, how it is that they got there, when it is that they're getting out, and everything on that. And yet, you cannot miss the fact that they're tattooed from head to toe. They're tattooed from cheek to cheek, ear to ear, elbow to elbow, and what have you. And the ideal of it is, to me, that statement is itself is a hollering out. Do you see me? We see you. Do we hear you? I don't think it's been enough acknowledgement on that. Do we ask often enough, what can I do to help you to change this? Before that, as one caller said regarding children, preventive. That's what's missing in our society. Preventive. When they're constantly breaking down the economic structure, when we're constantly going to a page and we're writing down our new how to plan and sort and do the next action. Well, I'm so glad a caller called in to Reverend Sharpton's show where he mentioned the actions of Donald Trump. Without break down the whole way of how loans are extended, the whole way of how business transactions affect what? Black communities. So listen, people, being Black and proud is not going and destroying property, not going and rewording languages that has no truth to it, or having people sign documents with a notary and there's no truth to what it is being said. That's stealing.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So here we are in a situation where we did learn that from that, based on Esquire Michael Kord's show, that they wanted to put a high, and I have no other better choosing the words, price on the woman who escalated, come and do this, or this is funny, or did you see that, this, or what have you. And the only takeaway from that is that they wanted to put a higher mark on her ability to be free while her litigations were pending. And the idea of it is this: whoever created the system of bonds and the release of a bond, and when it is that a person should be able to walk based on the crime or what have you, is the exact reason why we need a separation of civil from felony. A parent that cannot afford to meet every cost of living standard should not be penalized. It should not be seen or judged as a fraudulent situation or a penalty against them. Or if you don't come in court today with the absolute amount of money that is owed, that originally goes to where? To the state that you live in, not to the child, mother, or the children. There's no family structure in that at all.
None. This, Miss Audrey, I don't know if you today. I became so frustrated. I had to turn the television off. I had a few moments that I was able to catch. I turned CNN on, and they were talking. I'm sorry, I just cannot say his name, but Orange 45 is how I choose to refer to him. And they were waiting for him to arrive at the courthouse, and everybody that spoke about his anticipated arrival kept saying, "Well, there were no crimes. There was no crime that took place. There were no crimes that took place. They kept saying it almost as if to plant it in your spirit, so that whatever you heard after that, didn't bother you. I cannot stand what is happening in our country right now, especially and particularly as it pertains to him, because they are setting us up once again for this evil. And let me be clear, family, because everything that is coming out of my mouth is my very own opinion. It is not the opinion of anyone but myself, and most certainly not the station. I just want to be clear and give you all clarity, because I feel so strongly about this. We are here we are. We're talking. I'm sorry, Miss Audrey. Were you about to say something?
No, I'm listening to you.
I feel like they are paving the way. They're doing everything to set us up once again for this man to take office. And I can't stand it. I can't. We complain now and we talk about what's happening now, what they're doing with our economy and the way they're positioning Orange 45. Oh, I just feel it going. I don't want to even say it out of my mouth, but I just feel it going so much worse than what it is right now, than where we are right now.
And let us not forget, and this is why I'm not understanding people. It was an interview, I believe it was this past weekend on network CBS, where in fact a general of our country felt threatened by Donald Trump. And let us not forget, he threatened his Vice President Pence. And let us not forget that when a decision came down from the Justice Department, there was not enough standing with us, that in fact the insurrection that took place in our nation on January the 6th, 2021 was just that, an insurrection.
That's exactly what it was. Exactly.
We're not going to get anywhere destroying up the properties around us, though. Oh,
No, we're not.
No. Because the more we tear it down, the harder it is for us to get a word in edgewise. The stronger it is, the more strength it gives to them and their negativity and what they want to happen to us, which many of them came from our surrounding areas and counties of Pennsylvania, the haters.
It feeds into their plan. It just feeds so perfectly into their plan. Just watch them tear it down. Let them tear it down. And I just don't understand. I cannot understand the mentality. I don't understand the thought process, I should say. I don't understand the thought process.
The influencers, the wrong influencers, the wrong influencers that are I wouldn't even say the word respected, but they are outwardly expressing what we are feeling and internalizing.
But you know what? At some point, as an individual, as a human being, don't your actions have to make sense to you? You know what I'm saying? So
cognitive thinking. Yes, you're right.
I don't understand how like what that trigger is, or what is said to these individuals that go along with this plan. Okay, I can understand one person. I don't even understand the thought process alone, but one person may have, one person might be, I'll say it, might be off and have this way of thinking. But to convince others, how?
That's the part that I have difficulty with as well. How, you know what? It's as bad as the stories which, as we've gotten older, we've been told in retrospect, we shouldn't even been listening to those nursery rhymes. We shouldn't have been to those stories about going through the woods and knocking on the doors and your house was blown down because you didn't have the right structure. Well, guess what? And when we look at it in today's common sense logic reality, we realize that sometimes architect, builders, etc., was given the cheapest of supplies, but paid the largest for that demand of supply to have the very best. So, yeah, we're not stuck in that mud that we did not get the right reading of words or what have you. And yes, we can attribute a lot of what is said with hip hop generation. They're speaking your mind. It's their poetic justice. It is their way of saying, all right, so I digress. I shall just write how I feel. Well, don't hold it against them when they write how they feel. They say that there's tone, the tone in what we write. Well, to me, as long as you're not threatening with guns and violence and retaliation to the guns and violence, as my dear husband said, we can get much further with a pen or pen on paper. Much further. As long as they're listening to what you're saying. And as long as the references that we're referring to is not ignored because of the color of our skin.
Oh, Miss Audrey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you as always. Thank you so much. Oh my Lord. Family, it's time for us to take just a short break. But this conversation has to continue. This conversation is going to continue. When we come back, I want to hear from you. Know that our phone lines are still open, 215-634-8065. Toll free, 1-866-361-0900. And feel free to continue to comment on our socials. When we come back, I'm going to go to our socials to see what kind of comments our family members are making. But stay with us, family, because we'll be right back.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. WURD's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out the recent openings posted on the Livelihood Job Board at wordworks.com. The Wagner Institute of Science is hiring a science outreach educator. The Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia is hiring both a director of finance and operations and an executive director. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by WURD Radio, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Tune into WURD Radio this Thursday at 10 a.m. for City Council Live, hosted by Ernest Owens. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
Operation Hug the Block. 77 nights on the most violence-impacted blocks in Philadelphia. A nightly series of Peace Patrol vigils is happening right now from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. on blocks with 10 or more shootings since 2015. The operation will run until November 7th, Election Day. Hug the Block is spearheaded by Jamal Johnson of Stop Killing Us and Philly Troops. To see if you live on or near one of Philly's most violence-impacted blocks, go to phillytroops.com and click on Operation Hug the Block.
Sometimes it seems the crises just keep coming for children. COVID, war, drought, and famine. They can seem downright relentless. But you know what? So can our response. When helping children unites us, we are a force to be reckoned with. Where there is help, there is hope. It's why UNICEF won't stop, ever. Learn more at unicefusa.org/we-won't-stop.
Get ready for EcoFest, a celebration of environmental justice in our city. As WURD marks its 2 decades on the airwaves, we're not just reminiscing about the past, we're blazing a trail for the future. Held at One Art Community Center on October 9th, EcoFest will be centered around creating Black green futures. Join us for captivating panel discussions, electrifying musical performances, educational workshops, and a diverse lineup of vendors offering everything you need for a sustainable lifestyle. Make sure you tune into EcoWord every Friday at 10 a.m. hosted by POC for all the exciting event details you won't want to miss. We can't wait to see everyone at One Art Community Center on October 9th for EcoFest. Brought to you by the Alliance for Watershed Education, Keystone First, the Energy Co-op, and the Fiddler Club. Stay tuned and stay inspired only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Let's face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters, like having game night at home. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Welcome back, family. You're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So, family, I posed the question. I started the conversation about what has taken place most recently in our beloved city. I was talking about the looting that had taken place, and I shared. Well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was Miss Julie who initially shared that there were more adults than there were juveniles that were arrested initially for looting. I do remember reading there were 49 adults that had been arrested and 3 juveniles. And I expressed that I do not understand the thought process. I do not understand how and in what way it makes sense to tear down, to just I don't understand. I don't understand, and I'm trying drastically to understand. I did say that after the commercial break, we would go to our socials, so I'm going to do that. Brother Malcolm shares that he agrees. He is sick of all of the toxic behavior, everything from the lack of civility, the rudeness, the bad driving. He shares that things were bad enough, but since COVID, it has gotten so much worse. Unfortunately, Brother Malcolm, I feel that it's going to get worse. He shares that at the rate we're going now, we have business deserts throughout the city. We do. We do. We do. We do. We do. And he also is in agreement with me. He said it all feels like a setup. I believe that the plan is being carried out. Eric, hi there, Eric. Eric is joining us. Just Rick, just Rick. He shares their actions are sad, selfish, and sinister. They won't be satisfied until store owners decide to take drastic matters into their own hands. It truly saddens me, and all I can do is pray that these atrocities will stop. I'm praying with you. I am praying with you. I am. But unfortunately, I shouldn't say I'm praying and then say but. I shouldn't, but I just did. And unfortunately, like I said, I do feel that it will get worse before it gets any better. Miss Joanne is sharing. Various people are reminding us this is how Hitler got into power. Polarizing the people, love of dictators, no respect for the Constitution, some concerning stuff. It really is. It really is. And it does concern me. And Henry is joining the conversation. Hi there, Henry, and welcome. I'm with you, Miss Joanne. This whole there's a loss of respect. There's a loss of a lot. Uh, I want to go to our phone lines for just a moment. One of our family members has been waiting to talk with us. It is Brother X from Chicago. Hello, Brother X. Thank you for calling, as always.
But thank you for taking this call, girl. I'm shocked you talking to me.
Well, I love talking to you.
But thank you. I really appreciate it. I admire your knowledge and your courage. I have a quote for the slaves and the descendants of slaves. Try to write this quote down. It has withstood the test of all time. The quote is, the process of understanding or perceiving a common evil has put many people into a situation of the utmost danger. That quote simply means the masses of human beings that were exterminated in the past, they never saw extermination coming. They saw themselves being treated wrong and unfairly and cruel, but they had no idea that the people doing these things to them had plans to exterminate them. That is where we are right now. And we have no leadership to even bring bring it up or deal with it. There are good Caucasians out there. You got to have leadership to appeal to them. There was good Germans went against Mr. Hitler. They said, no, man, we don't like this. He locked a lot of them up and killed them. There was good Italians that disagreed with Mr. Mussolini. They told him, we don't like this, man. We are human beings. Stop this. He locked a lot of them up and many of them he killed. We got good Caucasian here been assassinated. I forgot the girl's name. The civil rights worker went down the South. They assassinated them. But we must continue to appeal to the good human being. We cannot do that. If we waste this little meager airtime we have on frivolous BS that have nothing to do with this extermination that's coming. These people that the psychopaths are letting in here. Cut me off whenever you get ready. These people, these psychopaths are letting in here. Many of them are mercenaries. Killers. And that's why they letting them in here. And when this slaughter of us starts, the white supremacist power structure, they're going to put it on the mercenaries that they let in here. And they're going to join right in with them. Ask yourself. The psychopath boys going all around these different cities. Oh, they parade. Oh, they got their brown shirt. Oh, we going to kill the N-word. Where are the psychopath boys when it comes to these illegal people coming in here? Where are they at? Dylan Roof assassinated 9 people in a church on a Wednesday night. Dylan Roof was a young Caucasian boy. He used to deal with black people, talking to black girls. Dylan Roof did not come up with that. Dylan Roof assassinated the 9 people in the church. He leave ones alive, one old woman alive. He said, you know why I left you alive? He said, no. He said, I left you alive because I want you to tell them what I did here. Check this out, sister. This is very important. But Dylan Roof to carry out her telling them what he did there, he has to be arrested, right? Dylan Roof wants to be arrested because he's sending a message to the other young He's sending a message to the other young Caucasian boys. Look at me. I carry out my mission. The same thing with the Caucasian psychopath in the grocery store in West Virginia on a Saturday morning. And when the police come, he put his weapon down and said, hey, you guys, I give up. But he's a hero to who? To the psychopath. This is, I don't know when they're going to come get me, but I'm going to get it all out. This is a racist white supremacy empire. They don't just run America. They run Earth and space. They decide who's going to be the president, not you. They put Barack Bush in, put him in twice, and then what they tell him? Go kill Gaddafi, boy. Gaddafi, the only leader in the world really helping out Africa. Told that Negro, go kill him. He said, yes, boss. Is anything else you want me to do while I'm over there? They got a Negro over African military in Africa. Bald-headed black Negro terrorizing Africa.
Terrorizing Africa.
We are being terrorized right here. Now, look, people, I know some of y'all don't like when I tell you, if you can get out of here, if you can get some young grandchildren, your child, out of here. Get out of here. You're not going to escape white supremacy and racism. You can forget that.
And go where, though? Go where, Brother X? Go where?
Each person going to have to decide that. I just told you. You're not going to escape racism and white supremacy. They run earth and space. Any Negro don't understand that. They don't even know what's going on.
So where's there to go if we can't escape it?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you go to Africa and you 50, 40-something years old, you might can live your life out.
Well, you said they run Earth and space. If I go to Africa, they're coming there too. I won't. You can't
but you
escape
might
it.
get a chance to live your life out. Your grandchildren might get a chance. Your children might have a chance to grow up. They are not. There is no escape from white supremacy.
Yeah, see, that's my point.
Earth, yes, they run Earth and space.
Yeah,
Yes.
Brother X, you know, I said that when you said that we had this conversation before, I said, I'm not running. I am not running. And there is nowhere to go because white supremacy is everywhere. You said space.
Okay. You're not going to escape racism and white supremacy. I told you they control the planet and space.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not going to defeat them. You just going to buy time. Your little granddaughter, your grandson, you don't want them psychopaths to get their hands on them. Because, brother, they got plans for them.
If I had a child or grandchild, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do want to say this. If I did have a child or a grandchild, I would not want to teach them to run. I wouldn't want to teach them that because I believe so strongly. I feel so strongly about what I believe. I would want to teach my babies that, no, we stand for what we believe in. And I believe in us. I believe in us. And and there may be a lot of them. I know there are.
All right. When you are in a house and that house is on fire and you can't put out that fire, what do you do?
I go down fighting.
No, you're going to get out of that house.
Yes, I am going to get out of the house, but I go down fighting. I'm still going to fight.
You know, folks, Dr. King died. He made a speech a lot of people don't remember. He looked real sad. He said, I made a big mistake. He said, I led my people into a burning building. What do you think he meant? He said, I led my people into a burning building. And boy, he looked sad because he saw that the avenue he was taking, that wasn't going to work. You're not going to change a racist white supremacy empire. You couldn't change it then. You're not going to change it today. You're not. That's Donna Hitler.
My plan isn't changing. That's not my. No. I said fight. I didn't say change. Now you can't change that, just like they can't change me. Now they can't change my way of thought or what I believe. But I'm not trying to change them either. But if we can't both coexist, then somebody has to go. That's my thought on it.
On a fight, queen sister. The point is not fighting. The point is, can you win? Ho Chi Minh, the white man over there taking over Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh said, who are these people? He said, let me go around the world and see who in the hell is these people and what are they doing? He went to these different white supremacy countries. Ho Chi Minh went back to Vietnam. He said, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. I know what I got to do.
Oh, Brother X, don't you go anywhere. You hear me? Wait. Brother X, I gotta take a commercial break. Don't get me put off the air now. Just take a break though. Hold on. Family, stay with us because we will be right back.
What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90 or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-6955. 7875, press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for? Hello, everybody. Let's say I register our vote. I hope this message goes across the nation. You hear the news. You know what's going on. There's serious things going on. So let us all be ambassadors. You know that? Hattie Northern is an ambassador. She says, I register, I vote, I must. This is a family affair. And if you know, you can talk to the families, the parents, the young people, old people, sons and daughters. Don't be afraid. I register, I vote, I must. Write it down for them if you have to. I register, I vote, I must. Come on, everybody. Get busy. Get on board. I register, I vote, I must.
When you take a walk around your neighborhood and notice all the things that make it feel like home, like all the houses lined neatly together in a row, or your neighbor, Miss Rita, who always waves at you when you drive down the street, or that movie theater in the strip mall that might look a little worn down, but has the best popcorn you've ever tasted. One thing might be a little harder to notice, because somewhere tucked in that neat row of houses is hunger. It could be your next door neighbor, or your coworker, or your daughter's friend from school, because over 30 million Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from. Hunger lives in neighborhoods all around us, but it doesn't have to. Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030, because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com from Acme Markets, Palucci's, and King's Foundations. Let's break the cycle of hunger together.
Did you know Henry Ossawa Tanner, the first internationally known African-American painter, lived and studied right here in Philadelphia? As the first Black student admitted to the prestigious Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Tanner broke barriers with his innovative, moving paintings and influenced generations of artists around the world. To find out more about the efforts to preserve his legacy and North Philadelphia childhood home, visit thetannerhouse.org, a message from the Friends of the Tanner House.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your Black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind.
Hey, Carol,
and
this is the last
reaffirming
commercial.
that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So here we are talking about what's going on in the world. We're talking about life. Before the break, I was talking with our beloved brother X, and we were talking about what to do. What to do. Brother X says, we pick up and we move, we go. I say, I stay. Now, I'm not going to make any suggestions to you about what to do, but I say I stay, feet planted. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, Brother X. But I do respect what you're saying. I must say that. I do respect what you're saying. But last week you were telling me about the spaceship though. You say that's no longer the plan?
I was telling you
You
about
were
what?
talking about the spaceship.
About the spaceship.
Okay, that's no longer
No, I
a
didn't
part of the
understand.
conversation. Okay, no. When we talked before, because you were telling me before that we need to go, but that's been constant. You did say that to me before. You said that. I think it was about the last time you called. Do you remember when you made the suggestion about leaving?
Yeah, yeah. If you want to have a chance for life, or if you want to be
Okay.
you can be a sex slave, and when they get
Uh,
tired of you, they're gonna kill you.
wait, what now? What?
The women that don't leave and the young boys, if they get them, they're gonna be sex slaves. They're gonna take them back to slavery. They're not gonna be on the farm like the old slaves. They're just gonna take advantage of them. They're not gonna have nowhere to run, nowhere to go. They will not be able to get no help from no one. It's gonna be total chaos. Now I hope Sister Lomax don't take you off the air for letting me spit the truth. Now I'm gonna tell people something. When them psychopaths shut off that water, when they shut off that electric and gas, when they shut down all airways, and all you hear is gunfire and explosion, you're gonna get the message in. And then they going door to door. I was in Vietnam. I read about the black towns that they burned down and terrorized. You read about them. The game ain't changed. It's the same. The only thing that changed, they got more powerful weapons and bombs. And that's where you at. Now listen, you say you ain't going, but that's each individual have
Right.
that choice. But what
Right.
I am offering to people, a lot of them don't know. They don't know the great danger we in. See, Donald Hitler is put there by the power structure. Many Negroes think he just ran for some election. The power structure put in Barack Bush. Don't think Negro putting him in. They tell you you're going to have a black president. You don't care of him. These people run Earth and space. And what did they tell him? Go kill Gaddafi. Gaddafi trying to help Africa. Kill that Negro. He said, yes, boss. Anything else you want me to do while I'm over there? Gaddafi trying to bring fresh water to Africa.
Well, Brother X, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt because I did hear you say that before before the commercial break. But my question is, so you say where to go? Your suggestion would be wherever we decide that we feel could give us a little more time. Your suggestion is that we find a
Because
place
that's
to
all
go.
she's going to be buying this time. But Vietnam is a good spot because boss been there. And the Vietnamese, they gave him about 15 million lives. So he
So
might
then,
not be going back there
well,
too
wait
soon.
now. So here we go. So we go. We identify a place that we want to go, but we don't know what we'll meet when we get to this
Oh, of
place.
course not. Of course not. I didn't know what I was going to meet when I moved from Birmingham to Chicago. I didn't know this racism was up here. Police killing Negroes. I didn't know that. I thought it was a better place.
Well, that's part of my question. That's part of my question. I'm saying so we feel like so your suggestion would be to go, but you're saying that we're anticipating better, but we don't know that there's better where we'll go. So what then? And how much more time would we
Well, I
actually
told
have if we're
wherever you go, all you're going to be doing is buying time.
buying
Don't let
time?
no Negro fool you. Racism and white supremacy run Earth, and they run space.
Okay.
Don't pay no attention to some Negro man calling up you talking like he's so bad and brave and can't change
Well,
jack.
none of us are nowadays. Well, you see what's happening now. None of us are nowadays, and I fear that it's getting even worse. But I have to say thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Always, I enjoy our conversations. I truly do. Thank you so much, Brother X. I do want to share some of our family members that have joined the conversation while Brother X and I were going through the possibilities. Miss Roslyn, hi there. She's sending her love. Harold, I'm going to get you. You hear me? Harold Sprittle, that is. He is sending love. Harry is joining us as well. He joined the conversation. Leslie shares that that's such a great quote that you shared, Brother X. I actually did write that down so that I can keep it. She does share that the youth have no expectation of better or of more than what they have. So it's just some interesting points of view. Alfred is joining us. Hi there, Christopher Manigault. Um, Donna Baker as well. Just thank you, family. Thank you. I'm looking at the time. And I'm so sorry that we could not extend this conversation, but this conversation will come back around because it's one that we have to have. It's a necessary conversation. So, family, as I inhale and I exhale. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Um, as we wrap up tonight's episode, I just want to thank you for your continued support. I just want to say thank you to all of our callers. Thank you so much to everybody who commented on our socials as well, who contributed in every way to the show. Thank you to Farida, as always. Thank you, Niall Jax. Thank you, Nick Steptoe, for all that you do and for putting up with me. Family, I tell you all this time, but remember, I tell you this all the time. We are all in this together. We are all in this together. But you be good to you. You hear me? But you be good to those around you as well. You have a great rest of your night. And make sure you join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Y'all have a good night. I love you, but God loves you so much more. You hear me? Have a good night, family.